Yes, I'm live. I'm live. I'm live, guys. I'm sorry earlier. You know, my mic had an issue, but now everything is fixed. Actually, today, what I want us to do is simple. I want us to look at market structure where Bitcoin is at currently. Because we saw Bitcoin drop down right down to about $91,000, and currently, I think Bitcoin is trading around, let me see to be sure on the price of Bitcoin currently. Bitcoin is around, let me say, give or take, $92,000, something like that. In $2,800. That's the current price of Bitcoin. But are altcoins reflecting or reacting to the same thing Bitcoin is doing? And I want us to see whether altcoins are maintaining structure, because we need to know whether this dip took out structure. I mean, Bitcoin structure, if it took out Bitcoin structure, or whether we are still in structure. This is very important. But I see many people talking about, oh, we can go right down to $75,000. Of course, we can even go right down to lower price point, but we need to understand when that is going to happen, when that is possible. Because if say we are still in structure, it means we have to respect structure. We have to stay with where price is. And based on that, we're going to, you know, build that confidence and stick with our trade that we have, or buy more, or maybe just like say, okay, we're gonna sell and allow price to down. We're gonna look at gold and silver too and see where we are with that macro aspect of the market. But I'm happy I'm here today, even though my stream is not like my camera is not like the way I want it to be, but I'm still happy. So basically, let's just dive straight away and see what we got for today. This is Bitcoin on the weekly setup, and this setup, it gives me some sort of understanding as to where we are currently with price action. Okay, now if we look out, like we zoom out, right, based on what we have been discussing here, right, you see that we are still in an uptrend. Okay, and price is still consolidating or is still ranging. And for us to confirm that price is actually gonna break structure, then we have to mark the previous low of last week, right? And the previous high of last week. Now the high of last week was around, let me just say, the 97,000 price point, and the low was around the 90,000 price point. Price was moving around 90,000, $94,000 before we saw price move right up to about $97,000. Now, for us to understand when to be scared, we need to see price break last week's structure, which is $90,000. So if we see price break and close below $90,000, then there's high chances we are gonna continue to mark price downwards. It's very important because we might be looking at this point. Remember, guys, I mentioned that this zone here, that if I go to the 4 hours time frame, we're gonna see what I was saying before we experienced this huge move to the upside. This was the midpoint for me based on what price has done in the past. We're gonna look at this, sorry, on the 1 hour, on the daily time frame. So based on what I'm looking at now, Bitcoin is still in structure. We haven't yet broken structure within structure. So there's no need to panic, but there's need to be concerned, because if say the US market open, which is open yet, like now, the US market is open, we need to see how price is going to react to this dump. Now, if you look at this dump, you're going to see that price actually has filled this fair value gap here. Remember, I mentioned this fair value gap last time. You can see clearly price has come back to this fair value gap here. But before, what happened here, guys? What happened? Look at this rejection here multiple times down here, like multiple times in the past and in the future before price break and close above this zone. Now, many are saying that price might just like do something like this, you know, and then drop down to maybe like more lower prices. But I'm seeing something else. If this is the other block that caused price to go and make the next high on the 1 hour time, on the daily time frame, then this movement here is just confirmation that um the market makers actually have to revisit the candle that caused price. So this is a candle that caused price to move to the upside, and bringing price back there tells us that this is actually a real move, because you can see the buyback. So if we see rejection here today, tomorrow might take us straight back and make the next high. But there's something I saw here, which I think, even though like okay, even though price didn't actually like eat all of that candle, but I think we should expect price to do something there. Take us to at least $99,000, because this was the candle that caused this huge move, this vector candle here. And ever since, we haven't seen price gone back to claim and stay above that candle. So what I'm thinking is gonna happen is this: price is gonna be building around this zone multiple times, rejecting here, build, rejecting here, before we see price move to the upside. Right. But this zone is gonna be the main area. It's gonna be around the $89,000. We don't want to see price stays below 90K for Bitcoin. If we see price stay below 90K for Bitcoin, then that's when I become concerned. For now, this other block and fair value gap is being respected. This buyback, if US open, which is US is open now, I want to see volume come in. So if we drop now down to the 4 hours time frame, right, we can begin to see, okay, there's vector candle here forming, two for that matter, and this candle, right? Let's see if there's volume. No, there's not high volume with this candle. This is the 4 hours candle. This volume here is not huge. Let's see when the volume is going to be huge. For now, the volume is not huge, but remember, this is a key area that we have to make sure price is going to respect around the $90,000 price point. And we have a minor order block here, and a minor fair value gap around this area, right? So they can easily wick down there, grab that liquidity, then take us back up. And we have these vectors here, right? So based on the 4 hours time frame, we can clearly see that if the next move to the upside is not able to take out this high, yeah, then that's when you become concerned. If the next move is not able to take out this high, yeah, then that's when you become concerned that we might continue to drop to the downside. But if we take out this high, yeah, then it means the previous high, this high, should be the main target. And if price is gonna fail to take out this previous high, then there's high chances that this other low and this high is gonna be taken out. So this is what I wanted you guys to see. And for this week, it's simple. For us to be able to consider Bitcoin as bullish, Bitcoin needs to close above the key areas that I mentioned, right? It has to close above that area. Above, if we see Bitcoin close above, this $97,000 above this area, then that's gonna be good. It's gonna be super bullish for altcoins. But if we're gonna close below the last week low, which is gonna be around $90,000, then we are gonna be bearish for the week to come. Or Bitcoin could get to the 75,000 price point that most people are calling for, in the market. So I said, let me do this so you understand the Bitcoin structure for once, So now let's get into Ethereum. Let's see what is Ethereum doing, how Ethereum is responding to all of this. Now, looking at Ethereum price action, you'll be shocked to see that Ethereum is playing the same game as Bitcoin. I always love to use the word the same game as Bitcoin. So once you analyze Bitcoin, you can just trade Ethereum, right? Currently, Ethereum is sitting above the value area high, which is good news for Ethereum. Meaning, if we see Ethereum trade below $2,900, then it's bad news for Ethereum. But if Ethereum stays above the $3,000 price point, then Ethereum is good. Because if you look at the previous week low, you know, my wife is calling, so I have to pick up this call. Sorry, guys, my wife is calling. You call me? Hello? Hello? I'm live. Are they live? Eh? Are they live? Okay. My wife was calling, so yeah, so I have to pick up. I don't know what was going on, but everything is fine. So, guys, now um, based on this, right? I would say that Ethereum looks good, and if Ethereum looks good, it means that altcoins are gonna look good too. Now, I mentioned last week that this could be an order block forming here, right? But last week proved us wrong, right? But the other block still stands, because the previous week low, high and low was this area, yeah, around um 3,300, and it was about 3,000 055, and last week maintained this. The last week high took us right up to, let's see, let me take off this so I can see properly the last week high. So last week high took us right up to $3,400. So normally on lower time frame this should be like a full candle, right? We don't look at that on the 4 hours time frame, and the same year. So last week we saw how price went right up and created a new high. Like now, based on the lower time frame, now it's not like a high because price closed within this within the range of the previous week high, and the previous week low. So we are still like ranging with Ethereum, but at one point they gave us a signal that this is where they want to go to, and seeing that price is holding this like midway of this candle is a good sign that this week could be bullish to recover, like to just recover this zone here right up to $3,400 for Ethereum. Now, going to the 4 hours time frame, let's begin with the daily time frame first. So, seeing this on the daily time frame is similar to what we saw with Bitcoin. This was an order block here on the one on the daily time frame, and this other block led to a fair value gap that was created here. And now price has filled this fair value gap, even though the other block is not yet taken out, right? But this is the other block, yeah, that caused price to move right up there and create this high based on the previous high on the other time frame. Even though we look at this high here, I would say okay, based on ever since price dip here, like the day price dipped towards this area, we haven't yet gone to take out this previous high here, and there was another block here as well. So looking at the future, you see that we are now sitting above the value area high with Ethereum. So Ethereum, to an extent, I would say, is bullish because price is recovering half of this vector candle. So the next daily candle should take us up there at least to create the next high to the upside. And looking at this now on the 4 hours time frame, I mean, guys, this is could be an information here, which is bad because price making this move here would have gone and make the next high, but price break this zone. So this whole area must be recovered, and or price stays above like around this area, consolidated like sideways before moving to the upside, right straight right up to 3,400. For now, these are the zones that we don't want to see price break and close below. If it breaks and close below on the 4 hours time frame with Ethereum, it's gonna be bad for altcoins. And going now to Solana, Solana, okay, Solana has visited this zone here. This is the alpha trend buy zone, which if I bring in the alpha trend here, I think I already marked that zone as the alpha trend based on the alpha trend, you know. No, it wasn't the alpha trend. Yeah, it was because this was the candle that caused price to yeah, this candle, yeah. So price retraced back to an extent to this alpha trend buy zone. And I think price is gonna drop down a little bit more to this area before price make its way to the upside on the 4 hours time frame. Price cannot just go straight up there. Price is gonna move sideways somehow, before we see price go back up there or continue to drop down to these levels here, you know. But this is like what I'm seeing with Ethereum, with Solana currently. We break this key zone here, this key zone, and we are below this area, even though we are around this like week here, this zone here. But we saw how price, break straight right down towards this value area, low area, which is not good for Solana, right? Because price has just rejected this high here, okay? This high, price just rejected this high, which is not good, okay? And because of that, I think if say Bitcoin is not gonna be able to like if the Bitcoin is gonna be bearish to our extent, let's say we're gonna go to 75,000 dollars for Bitcoin, then looking at the weekly time frame for for Solana, why do I keep saying Ethereum? We can easily drop right down to $94,000 or right down to 70,000. Guys, I mean, I'm now calling big, 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 big money with Solana. I see I'm talking about Bitcoin. We can drop right down to $97 or right down to $70, right? Around the $80 price point or around the $97 price point. We can see here there's still more downside if say we're gonna lose this area here. It can come even right down to $29 for Solana, but I doubt that is gonna happen. But you can see here there's an M formation here. You can continue to see price mark towards the downside. So I think we can easily see Ethereum go right down. Easily see Solana go right down to around this area before we experience the next bump to the upside. I keep mixing stuff today. I don't know what's going on, but there are days like that. I think maybe because I didn't start the stream on time, and I was having issues, with the stream. So I'm gonna go straight away with goal and see where we are with goal. If we yeah, goal is not stopping yet, let's see the daily time frame. Yeah, goal has gone to the next high, but what I mentioned last time it play out, price week out to this zone here. You can see you'd have bought more, yeah, and look at the buyback. So at least price got to my zone. I mentioned that if we have to see some retracement, we're gonna get to this area at least. But the buyback was good with gold, so we are still bullish with gold. Let's see how the daily candle will close, and you can see the new weekly candle is above the previous high, the previous weekly high. So this is bullish for gold. Nothing more to say about gold. Let's see, silver is doing the same thing. Silver has gone to the next high this week, if I am right. Not yet. It's still holding around this area. So we need to see silver break and form the next high. So all of these assets are building, are doing well. Silver is stayed above this line that I drew here. I'm gonna take it to the future more. So silver and gold are not stopping yet. They give us hope that Bitcoin could be pumping soon, because these are all macro liquidity drive. Seeing money flow into gold and silver. We can see some of it flow into Bitcoin. So guys, um this is what I'm looking at for this week based on previous price action, what happened last week, and where we are based on structure. And you can see that we are still in structure. We should expect Bitcoin to continue going to the upside. Price have gone to key levels, fair value gap on the daily time frame, which is important. And if we're gonna see Bitcoin do well, then all coins are gonna do the same. Let's just see how the market will react today. And anything good will take altcoins to the upside, and anything bad will take altcoins to the downside. Until then, guys, see you the next one, and take care of yourself. Bye bye. Ciao.